What up, YouTube? I'm starting to develop a little bit of an arch enemy. I lost to him in Master Baker, and he can't keep my name out his mouth. I'm talking about Slime from the podcast, The Yard. And obviously they brought up the things that have been going on this past week. They try and make sense of it amongst friends, and I decide whether I want to go on the podcast in the future. It's a shocker. No, I'm good, actually. I wouldn't love it. I don't need it. I don't need your pity podcast invite. Ladies and gentlemen, let's check out what the Yard's saying. Farming my friends for React content, Volume 7. Boop.
We've recorded this more times than I'd like to admit, but it's a bit awkward. And if you haven't heard, there's some things that happened to a close friend of ours, and more importantly, to a lot of women on the internet. And we're not going to really dive into it this podcast.
Fair.
Why? Look around, read the room a little bit. We're four white dudes who are friends with the person. I just don't feel like we have the adequate insight without like a woman to empathize and accurately go through the convo. So we're gonna talk about what we normally talk about:
butts
and crud.
Yeah,
and poop,
and maybe little minerals.
And what do you have to add?
Oh, minerals.
Oh, I was thinking about farting into the mic.
Okay.
Right,
The day you
I am. What is the right word here? I'm not a podcast hater. I only hate two extremes of the spectrum. And that is podcasts that are actually like fart into Mike LaMau, and then podcasts that only ironically joke about fart in the Mike LaMau. Everything else in the middle is fine because it's the entire spectrum of podcasts, but it's like, oh my God, I get it. Fart into the mic, man.
So we're going to get back into it.
All right.
You guys hear the news? It's a little awkward. I cried on my way to work today. I already shared this in a previous take, but we cut it because I said a slur that Aiden didn't like.
You did.
What?
And it's like, why don't you like it?
It's like...
Yeah, you're not allowed to say femoid.
You're right. You're right.
What the hell is going on?
It's my fault.
Yeah.
It's my fault.
I'm just gonna do some bad shit so that he'll cry about me.
What?
I just want him to cry about me once before I die.
Can you fucking one time?
I just want to let us...
Famously, I don't want my friends to ever cry about me unless it's tears of joy, unless I win an Academy Award or something. You know what I mean? I hate how much I've cried this week. It's been a nightmare. It's not good. It's not good at all.
Yeah.
He cried when my dad died.
I did. Well, I didn't cry when your dad.
Oh, dude, I cried reading Slime. Speaking of crying, if anyone hasn't read what Slime wrote after his dad died, it is one of the most touching things I've ever read, and I cried for hours. I could not stop crying.
And I cried
Yeah.
about what you wrote about it.
Yeah, okay, thank you. That blood is in the same boat. Same boat.
I think I like shut off all crying. I always like to say I cried out when my dad died, and then I made a switch in college where I was like, I'm gonna start crying at things because you should cry at things.
You should.
But it was only for media.
Yeah.
So like I cried at Puss in Boots.
You're really, anyone who didn't cry at Puss in Boots 2 is a liar. I cried. We were all in the back row crying. Squeaks cried. Squeaks was next to me. But truthfully, he cried because, here's a little spoiler, Ludwig stole Squeaks' food. Ludwig bullied Squeaks at the movie. Squeaks ordered popcorn. They came out with a bowl. Ludwig grabbed it, ate all of it, and beer. I forgot about the beer. He actually just stole your food and drink, ate half of it, and then finally gave it back. What an insane thing. And then he cried at the end of the movie. I will say that I've spent a lot of time, and I know that we made a statement about this, and it's been like a really hard week. I guess I'll say one more thing, and that's that, like, navigating through all of this with Ludwig was like my, I don't know, like big brother. You know, like how all those movies have the concept of like two orphans, big brother takes care of the little brother. Ludwig was my big brother this week for 1,000,000,000%. Ludwig, like you mentioned here, was able to like disassociate a little bit and cut to the core of the issue. And that was really helpful for me. It's like he was dad and I was mom. You know what I mean? I was just emotional and couldn't do anything and couldn't make any decisions and couldn't help. And he was the one that was like, well, I guess we got to do this, you know? It was, I really appreciate everything he did.
So,
sorry, not trying to make it a gendered moment. I was just trying to convey how I felt about it.
But why are you
I'm
guys
not on
saying
my misogynist arc. I know Squeaks is here. I know Squirters are here. This is not the situation where we turn it against the streamer and we all laugh. Different universe, different place, different being.
No. It wasn't that. It was how erect you are.
Erect?
Yeah.
Like posture?
In posture.
Yeah, I think we can skip erect toe walking. We can skip Slime's fit, baiting slime, the Panda Express incident. Okay. I assume it's the Panda Express incident that we're here to talk about. I've actually done a lot of thinking and a lot of reconciling about the Panda Express incident, and where I've come up, before we listen to anything they say, because this is going to color both my thoughts about it and your thoughts about it, I have been absolutely gaslit about this for 4 years, and I truly don't know the truth. I have no idea what the reality is around Panda Express. I am a trauma victim. No idea. Could not tell you. Is Slime right? Is Ludwig right? No, I wasn't mean to him because I'm not really mean to people.
I had a real conversation, you know who with Stanz. He is cut up about the Panda Express thing.
What are you talking about?
He just
What do you mean? What are you talking about, you son of a bitch?
Should have been fucking nicer
Wait, what's
to
the
me then.
Panda Express thing?
the thing from
I'm dead ass.
the Genesis thing where we were walking.
Oh, the story.
Yeah,
Oh, I forgot.
It's because Slime always brings it up when he talks to
cut up?
Stanz. Yeah, because he's been like I've been like self-reflecting on it, and it's like
This is not how I talk. This is not how I talk. Everyone knows that.
I don't know what's true, like because like I know I wouldn't do that in my character, like my heart
You
of hearts,
fucking
but
did it.
But Slime's so adamant that I did it. So
Should
I
we
must
get
have
his
done
ass
it.
on the fucking podcast?
He would love that, by the way.
Yeah, Stanz up.
He would adore that.
Stands up? I would too. I
The
like
stands up, and it's
Stan.
5 stanzas.
Well, what I'm saying is he did fucking do that. And so he should
Yeah,
be
not me, though.
reflecting. It's crazy that it took him forever to
Me, Aiden, and Saikuno, the impressions of the three of us are always the same. It doesn't matter.
figure this out.
I think it's more so he just still feels bad.
I don't think he felt bad until I brought it up to him.
I think you're also someone who will never forgive and never forget.
I
That's
think
not
it's-
true.
I also think that he specifically is making up what happened. That's my stance here.
Hey, I'm sorry for what happened.
What happened?
When I laughed at you for wanting to go to KFC or Panda Express.
He thinks you're not
Panda
serious.
Express.
I obviously don't think you're serious.
I'm being super
mean it?
genuine.
I'm
I
being
don't
for
see
real.
genuine.
You know what
For
the
real.
problem is? You think I don't forgive because every instance in which you would apologize to me is a joke. So I can't.
That's not true.
I'm not bad at forgiving. You just suck at apologizing.
no, it's just that,
did.
That might be a fact.
He would,
Hey.
you're saying it on fucking podcast
I'm
right
actually-
now. Obviously, you wouldn't mean it.
I'm actually sorry.
if
Oh, not being able to say sorry without laughing out loud is tough. All right. Long story short, I am going to describe the panda incident how I remember it. I am also going to describe it how Slime remembers it, and I'm going to let you decide which you think is more probable, knowing me, Nathan Stanz, the streamer. I'll start with Slime's story, I think. Slime's story. He is leaving Genesis, Smash Bros. Tournament venue in downtown Oakland. He sees his friends, Ludwig, Stanz, and Atrioc. He goes up to us and says, hey, do you guys want to get some lunch? We say, what are you thinking? He says, Panda Express. We all go, ha 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 ha, and then walk away from him. That is his story. That is exactly what he says happens. Here's my story. Slime is leaving the venue. He sees the three of us walking away. He says, hey, what are you guys doing? We say, oh, we're going to go get some food. He says, what are you guys getting? We say, hey, Stan says he knows this really authentic Chinese restaurant. It's really good. What are you thinking? Or like, do you want to join us? This is what I remember asking. And he goes, no, I'm thinking about getting Panda Express. And that is kind of funny. And so we kind of like laugh a little bit and go, are you sure? And then he gets mad and leaves. That's it. That's the story. That's the truth about it. Is that it's like, hey, why would you go, in our minds, why would you go to Panda Express when there's like a really good, authentic restaurant, award-winning Chinese restaurant like 1 block away? The laugh was in the surprise. We thought he was joking about Panda Express. Why would you say that? Why would you do that? That's how I remember it. And I think the truth is probably somewhere in the middle. It is crazy to hear your friends are going to a Chinese place and say you're going to Panda Express. That's what I think. That's what I think. Didn't Slime first tell it as if you all were going to a fancy steakhouse? No. I don't even eat meat, so we wouldn't be going to a fancy steakhouse. What makes it funny is good Chinese restaurant versus Panda Express. Why would that wouldn't make sense? Because if we said steakhouse and he said, I think I'd prefer Panda, it'd be like, oh yeah, you just wanted Chinese food. You know what I mean? That's fine. Yeah, and okay, if he's already said steak place, then his story is cannot be trusted. You have a verbal contract for your yard episode now? I actually don't think I want to be on the yard.
get his ass on the fucking. podcast?
He would love that, by the way.
Yeah, Stanz that.
No, I think I'm out. I actually think I'm out until I am apologized to. I think the core of the issue is that Slime always tells it if he was explicitly not invited. He was invited. That is my thing, is inviting people, making people feel welcome. We invited him. He said, no, I'd rather have Panda Express. And then we laughed at him. That's a fact. That's how it goes. That's the truth of the story. He was invited. Why do you think he remembers it like this? I think Slime is an extremely funny person. And I think that when funny people are telling stories, they like to slowly change things to make it even funnier and exaggerate. And then eventually you get here. You've been bitching about not getting your own yard ep every time that you've reacted to the yard for videos, and now they invite you and you say no. I didn't like his attitude about it, where he was like, Stanz would love that. No, I'm good. I'm good. I don't need it.
His ass on the fucking podcast?
Listen.
He would love that, by the way.
No, I'm good, actually. I wouldn't love it. I don't need it. I don't need your pity podcast invite. No, not we. That's a he. You guys are smoking reefer.
But I did it to
Can we
him.
get his ass on the fucking podcast?
He would love that, by the way.
He said we, and then he's like, he was going to say like we can or we should, and then he said he would love that. For sure. It's a billion, chat. You guys actually need to clean your ears out.
That I did it to
Can
him.
we get his ass on the fucking podcast?
Okay, now listen. From here on, listen to the words he says.
He would love that, by the way.
He would love that. He said he would love that. That's he.
He would adore that.
And then he said he would adore that. Why would he say we would love that, he would adore that? He says he would love that, he would adore that. Of course. Chat, you guys are actually smoking reefer. It's so much a he. He switches up. He's always switching up. I know that. I know that about him. I was very complimentary to him while talking about this, so maybe we can take it back. Yeah, maybe the yard should come on my podcast. Exactly. He's actually French, so he says we would love that.